So a debate arose from my last video on the Black Sabbath Seventh Star album. It seems there is a perception that bands with replacement frontmen are typically weaker than the original, and that their musical output is much poorer because of the change. However, this perception is not a reality. There are many bands who've successfully changed vocalists over the years, and there are also bands out there who are simply better known for their replacement singers. For example, without a shadow of a doubt, Judas Priest is synonymous with the voice of Rob Halford. However, he's not the original singer. Halford joined Judas Priest in 1973, replacing original singer and founding member Al Atkins. Another example is AC/DC. It's known for Bon Scott and Brian Johnson fronting the band. However, it was Dave Evans who was the original vocalist. He was replaced by the late Bon Scott in 1974. The thrash band Anthrax, one of the best bands to come out of America, is best known for having Joey Belladonna on vocals. However, he joined in 1984, replacing Neil Turbin. There were also 3 other singers in Anthrax before Turbin. In 1981, John Connolly, who would go on to be better known for his work in Nuclear Assault alongside former Anthrax bassist Dan Lilker, he fronted the band, and he was in fact replaced by Dirk Kennedy, and he was replaced by Jason Roosevelt, and that was all in the same year, 1981. Phil Anselmo's voice is a big part of Pantera's unique groove metal sound. However, he wasn't the band's original singer. He took over from Terry Glaze in 1986. The reality is, in Pantera, there were 5 other vocalists in the 80s glam metal era before Anselmo even joined the band. If you look at Iron Maiden, their best known frontman is Bruce Dickinson, but he's actually one of the furthest removed from the original singer. He's the 4th man to front Iron Maiden. He of course replaced Paul Di'Anno, who is better known than either Paul Day or Dennis Wilcock. An interesting fact, and demonstrating how mad the world of rock and metal is, Dennis Wilcock actually was the support act for my band Kane in London a few years back. This was not long before he decided to file that lawsuit against Iron Maiden over songwriting rights. It's a funny business. Faith No More is well known for the unique voice of Mike Patton. However, Patton joined the band in 1988 and he replaced the original vocalist Chuck Mosley. Deep Purple is another band, much like Iron Maiden and AC/DC, which is better known for 2 replacement vocalists. Obviously, the best known Purple singer is Ian Gillan. He joined the band in 1969, replacing the original vocalist Rod Evans. And of course, David Coverdale, he joined Deep Purple in 1973 before going on to form Whitesnake in 1977. So the reality is there's a whole host of replacement singers who've fronted bands and have gone on to be successful, written great music and released classic albums. I don't understand this narrative that the replacement singers are always bad. And in some of the examples I've just given, the replacement vocalist has gone on to be better known than the original. So this whole hang-up about original lineups and original singers is very strange to me. It doesn't make any sense. I think some people cut themselves off from good music just because of a change, and they won't break down that barrier and listen to an album by a band they've liked previously just because it might have a new singer on it. So while there have been some bad replacement singers across the history of rock and metal, the reality is that's not always been the case.